How y'all doing? We are so happy to be with you and so grateful for a window of time together. So we're excited to create some fun value in the next 60 to 90 minutes, and we are grateful for all that you do every day to create value around you. Thanks for getting up early. Right? Over there in Perth, this is pretty early, right?
No.
No. Your hair just looks cute all the time, Terpsy. So, welcome. Can you guys do a little shout out and tell us real quick which city, and we're just going to go down the list, and you just tell us where you're from and what your intention is for today.
Gina, where are you calling from?
I'm in Newcastle, Australia.
That's right.
Fantastic. Welcome.
How you doing, sister?
Good, thank you. I'm actually listening. I'm about to drive home, so I'm not going to be looking. I've put my video off.
You're okay. We're glad to be together either way. What's your intention tonight? What do you want? Or
can I get back to you? The intention is just to learn, listen, learn, and be present.
Perfect. Glad you're with me. Yep. Natalie.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi. I actually sent in the mentoring thing, so I'm trying to work through some things with builders and just getting a idea of where I should head a little bit and how to cope and still inspire them to move forward. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it. Good clarity. So we'll drop right into that when we get through. We'll get you first, okay? Hey, who's Additive Free Lifestyle? Hey, Deb.
Hey, that's us. So I'm Jo and Tracy.
Hey. Oh, girls.
We changed our name. It's all confusing. We were Systemix and now we're Additive Free Lifestyle. We rebranded and changed it about a month ago now, so it's very new. So you're forgiven.
I'm with you. I was just looking down the side list and not seeing everybody together yet with their names. So happy to have you guys, and you go beyond your beauty brand. Who you are is so much more. So we love you just who you are.
But it's chilly. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We just got off our Blue Diamond and Above call with
Awesome. How's prep going for leadership?
Well, good. We need to work on our speech just a little bit more, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, I talked with Jonathan in the morning just to clarify a few things. So we're excited to be here.
We're super excited. This is actually our first leadership. So we missed last year. We couldn't get to Perth last year. So we're super excited because we don't quite know what to expect either.
Woohoo! You're going to love it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like doTERRA convention on steroids because everyone is so focused, it's like all the doTERRA diehards.
I can't wait. It's going to be great. I can't wait to get back to the coast too because I've just moved from the Gold Coast to Hobart. So I'm like, take me back. It's the middle of winter.
Warm me up, right? Oh, yeah.
He said he put a blanket on her knees.
That's right. Hey, we were down there in the coldest winter in 68 years down there.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, oh my goodness.
It's got nothing on Utah though. Let's face it.
It doesn't. It doesn't have indoor heating, and that was the problem. So.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, so happy to have you. Love And did you say your intention yet? Was I catching that? What's your intention?
Oh, well, we've never been on a call with you guys, so I guess our intention is just to learn from everybody here. And I think you can, there's always an opportunity to learn. So I guess our intention is just be a sponge, soak up as much information as we can and go from there.
Sweet. Let's do that. Vicky. Oh, let's see. Maybe.
Hi.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
Where are you coming to us from?
I'm from Brisbane in Queensland. So yeah, I'm part of John and Noel's leg.
Awesome. We were just with them in Lake Como.
Bellagio.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love
No,
that.
they mentioned this last night on their Zoom. So yeah, I thought, well, if I get the chance, I'll try and log in.
Awesome. Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, what's your intention right now where you're at? What do you want from this call?
Yeah, so I've been in doTERRA and doing doTERRA for a year now. So basically just did it for personal use, but I've found that I've also just from sharing become a bit of a builder, but yeah, I'm not a solid builder and stuff. So yeah, just looking in at getting everyone's tips and ideas and advice and things and learning to grow.
Tips, advice, learning to grow. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great. Amanda. Bring it. Where are you joining us from? There we go.
Sunshine. Oh, which Amanda? Is there another Amanda?
Yeah, no, you're good, Amanda.
So from the Sunshine Coast up in Queensland.
Yay!
And the intention for the call, I think, is similar to everybody else's, is just for that inspiration and learning from the people who've done so well already and how we can then put that in our own businesses going forward.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Fantastic.
Love it. We'll create that. Let's see. Deb.
Myself.
There you go.
You're good.
You're looking
Coming
lovely.
to you from Perth, where I'm with my mum who's just come out of hospital. So my intent is to just sort of like be immersed in the transmission of the love from you guys and everybody around, and keep watering that little plant in the heart, even if I can't be picking the fruit right now. So keep watering for growth.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Beautiful awareness, beautiful creation. Love it. Terpsy.
Hello, I'm from Perth, and I just came back from a long holiday in Cyprus. So I feel I need to be part of a group like this and have you and Andy, Natalie and Andy mentoring us just to stay motivated and stay inspired and just stay focused with what we want to do with doTERRA. I love the product so much. I love the business so much. I love everyone who's involved with doTERRA, and I like to be part of a group. And I just feel grateful that we have this call to feel like we belong to a group and someone is there supporting us continually and inspiring us. And at every call we learn. It's just a matter of learning and keep getting motivated and staying enthusiastic about everything we do and staying in contact with other people who do like what we do, like yourselves, just to stay inspired.
Stay inspired. Feel the community. I love it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Orla.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, beautiful. Good. Where are you joining us from again?
I'm in Sydney. So yeah, it's a nice bright day, but a little chilly. So yeah, it's good. So my intention really for today is very, very similar to everybody else, is to listen and learn from the best, and take a few seeds from the whole conversation and move forward.
Love it. Love it. We'll do that. Take the seeds and move forward. Preeti. Welcome. Here we go. Where are you joining us from? Remind me. It helps me get this feel for where you all are in the beautiful land.
I'm in Brisbane. We moved back from Victoria last December. So
beautiful.
Back in the warmth.
Yes. What's your intention for today?
My intention is, I've had lots of time to think now, is getting my health back on track still takes a lot of time, and often days fall over by just the ups and downs of my energy. So my intention for today is that somehow the opening to the universe to help me with that, to get the balance between health and building the business.
Yeah, that's a sweet balance. Good to keep growing in that so we can get it down.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. Crystal, how are you? Good to see you again.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm great, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to be on the call today. I'm getting lots of giggles, so I'll round back down. My number one intention for the call today is to probably just through everyone's sharings, just absorb as many extra skills on mentoring. So that's really where I'm honing in on, is refining my mentoring skills and just advancing my leadership skills. So great to be here. So grateful. Thank you for holding this group for us to connect, and that connectivity is really special.
Yeah, love that clarity. Great. We're going to absorb some awesome mentoring skills tonight. You guys are becoming experts, right? Every moment that you are mentored is this process of being mentored. And it aids in your mentoring and the energy and experience and wisdom that you can bring to that. And Rula, am I saying it right? Welcome.
Hi, yes, it's Rula.
Rula, where
I'm driving. I'm from Maroubra in Sydney.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Glad to
have
have
raining.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great that you guys are coming on and to share all your knowledge.
Well, I'm telling you, the brilliance is in each one of you. So tonight we're going to untap a little bit of that, okay? The great thing about mentoring that we've learned with time is that it's not about me being amazing or all that I can bring to the table and what kind of brilliance I can show off, but really just about asking the right questions so we can unearth the brilliance within those that we're mentoring and each of you, okay? So, it's a really simple truth, and it keeps things really simple, right? And that frees you up because you don't have to have all the answers. You just ask powerful questions and bring your love and bring your caring, and everything works out. So one of the most powerful parts of, we're having a great summer here. I haven't had my sunglasses off all day. So I was like, oh yeah, hair. We've just been enjoying summer and kicking back. We don't get great weather all year round like you all get. But as we've been in this space, it just helps us remember the brilliance that's in each individual. And I know that they're not focusing on strengths, but for leadership, but Adish and Santoshi are doing a Strengths Day. And I think you guys have heard about some of the brilliance from strengths. So I hope you've taken the Strengths Finder test and you're untapping some of your strengths. Because, as many of you have mentioned too, the community that we're a part of is so brilliant and amazing. I noticed that whenever we have a challenge with a team with a group, with an individual, the answers are actually within, sometimes the answers are within that person, or it's within someone right there near close. So working with them. So let's start asking some powerful questions. We want to use the template of One Thing Mentoring. This is something that we started asking questions of what's the science behind doTERRA about 7-8 years ago, because we wanted to help other people succeed. And honestly, we looked at what we had done and we thought, oh my goodness, I don't know how to tell people what we've done. And so we just started asking questions about what really is happening at each level in doTERRA. And that's what you have here for those of you that have seen the One Thing Mentoring. And we're going to just hop right into this process with Natalie, because the best way to learn this process is to do it. And it's really super simple, but I love how this form, the form itself helps. Like, for example, Natalie has gotten real clear. She's taken the time to fill it out. She's asked herself these questions already. So we've used the form, so we're already using powerful questions so we can untap some of the brilliance in Natalie, some of the answers that only she knows to progress, right? I don't know those answers. You know, some of her team members, some of her upline right near her might have some insights along the way, but truly the brilliance is within Natalie. So we're going to just ask her some questions to take that to the next level. And if you haven't seen, do we have One Thing Mentoring in the downloads? Oh yeah. Okay. So if you haven't seen One Thing Mentoring yet and you'd like to see the form itself, just email Andy@sharesuccess.com. Right now, it's in the process of getting approved by doTERRA as a download, so it's not posted anywhere. So let's hop in, Natalie. I love this. You are authentically, organically hitting gold. And your belief in your builders is a 10. I love it. Do you know how unique that is? That's really amazing. You've done incredible. Feel free to go back and forth if you need to mute, if you have anything in your background. Nice posters in the background, by the way.
Front too.
Oh, awesome. Look at you. I'm so glad they reach you. Sometimes I send things and wrap them all in a bunch of love and just hope that they get to you. You know, like, oh.
Those ones got retracked. They were sitting with the postman for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We had like 50 returned, you know, couldn't find the homes or whatever. And we're like, oh.
Yeah, so with the belief in builders, I would say, like, I have a really high belief because I can see what they do and what they've got inside of themselves.
Yeah.
And what I should clarify is that although, because I am diamond, I have 4 silvers, but I will state that one of them I did build. Like, so that person I don't really qualify as a real builder because they sort of stepped away. So I don't really stress too much about that. Jessie just told me I should just get out and do it anyway. So that's what I did. And the thing that I'm struggling with is that I don't think they can see it for themselves. They can't see it for themselves. And what I mean by that is I actually have an email from one of my silvers this week who's pretty much saying that she's needing to step back away and she's struggling, you know, with doing everything. She can't do everything. And from August, she will be, she hopes to find a new job. And then when she finds a new job, doTERRA will be like the 4th priority on her list of things to do.
Wow.
But she's got huge money issues and money blocks, and that's the main reason why she can't focus on doing the oils and things like that. So I'm kind of feel a bit stuck on how I actually respond to her about that to keep her still motivated, to say if you've really got all these money issues, then you're already at a silver level, you could be really picking up some really great bonuses that would make a difference. So yeah,
is she open to those conversations? Have you had those conversations with her before?
I mean, I think we've sort of tiptoed around these sort of conversations before. We have had things, and the main thing is that she had said to me she wanted to be gold by Christmas this year. And so now in this email she sent me, she's like, the direction is now I want to be gold by 2019, November. So it's kind of shifted the goalpost a big way out. But she said she'd still be there to help support her team. Her team generally will come to me with all questions to do with placements and compensation, everything like that, or how to approach new businesses.
But they're going to her on product questions and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Awesome. Well, I have to tell you that it could be a lot worse than it is. So I'm so grateful that she's answering product questions. Look at how much is going right? And finding that right now and focusing in on what she's doing right is going to get you more and more of what she's good at, right? And drawing out the gifts and strengths in her. It might be really interesting to see the results of her strengths test so you could better draw that out in her. And of course, it's always her choice, right? She's always in choice, and she can choose to put things on a back burner. She can choose to slow down, all of those things, but she can also be inspired, right? And you've got what it takes to inspire her. She's in the perfect place for you, to grow with you. That's the thing I love about doTERRA. Wherever people are, it's like you just have this knowing, right? This natural knowing that she's in the best place for her, and you'll be inspired as to what to do to help her catch that vision, right? And this is all about the curriculum that you're really at right now, right? This is the curriculum for gold that with love, and you got a 10 there on the love that you feel. So you've got the belief in all your builders, and you've got the love. Now it's about transferring the vision. So for her, it sounds like she's not really doing the math on what she could be making and how to make that leap, right? How doTERRA could be that solution instead of this other job, this other thing that she's got going. So
you mentioned just before about Strengths Finders. Like, to give you an example, when my team went silver, I sent them all the Strengths Finders book. Awesome. And obviously for them to do the quiz. So one of them, when she got it, she's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Thank you. I'm going to do the quiz this afternoon. I'm going to send you results. So she did. And then the next one got it like a few days later, and she sent me a message, oh yeah, I'm so excited. And she did it, and she sent me results. And from that leader, I didn't hear, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, we
Sorry,
got.
I'm not sure if I cut out.
No.
So yeah, she didn't write to me at all. And I was like, I don't know if it actually reached her because I didn't post it. And I was like, maybe it didn't get to her. So over a week later, I said, oh, did you get the book I sent you? She goes, oh, I thought I ordered that. I just put it on the side. I said, there should have been a note in there. Oh, I didn't even read it. So yeah, I don't know. The interest is not quite.
Yeah. So one thing is like, you could interpret that as she doesn't have the interest or she doesn't care, or she could be a lot more lackadaisical than you are, She could be like, I've got those 3 things going and I'm not really tracking. And so it sounds like you've given her a lot of mercy, right, already, and kind of tried to keep loving her up, right, even when it's been hard. So this is a tricky stage, right? So you can choose, you can back off a little bit and just let her grow at her own pace and support. Andy and I would love to tell people, we're going to match your efforts. We're here and we're going to match your efforts. We want to support you. We want you to get freedom. We want you to reach your why. We want all of that, right? But that can only be chosen by you. And so we'll match your efforts. We call that match, latch, and lead. And when that happens, then we can grow together and we can really achieve. But so a key thing right here, right now, maybe before you go to that point, is just to make sure you've had the crucial conversations, that you've been really clear, and that she's in that point of choice and clarity, right? So that might look like, does she live nearby?
Yeah.
That might look like, hey, when can we go to lunch? I really want to be in person. I want to sync up. I've got something really important I want to talk to you about. And then you might ask her questions about, hey, remember when we started this together, I remember you wanting da 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 da, right? Her why from the beginning. What was her why from the beginning? And going back to that. And I see you and you've done incredible things, and maybe you make a list of the things that she's already done right in doTERRA, right? I see you answering those product questions, and you do so incredible at that. I see you doing this and this and this, and find all the specifics that you can that she's doing right, and bring that all about. And then you're kind of inviting her to, I see that you're right there on the edge. And if you chose into doTERRA, if you really brought your energy and your time to it, this would be something that could explode for you. And I see that you're right here, that, you're close to this bonus and this bonus and this bonus. And you start adding those up and showing her right there on the napkin, hey, this could be a reality for you in 2 months, in 3 months, whatever, wherever she's at in that timeline. And then just saying, okay, where's your why at now? How can I support you to reach your dreams, reach your goals? Because really, I love you, and I don't want to force anything. I'm just here to support you. What do you want? And how can I help with that, right? So you're giving her back all of that power, right? In the very beginning, we start running, and sometimes, it's easy for it to become half of Natalie's business and half of her business, right? Because you were the one taking more ownership than her. And right now it's in this phase of for her to go to the next level, she's got to take the ownership. So you, as her doTERRA mama, get to show up and ask those questions, right? How would that feel to have that kind of conversation with her?
Yeah, I think I want to go down. I was actually thinking I wanted to talk to her about, more about it being a partnership. Whereas I just came off Diamond Club, and when I was doing that, I think probably one of my small frustrations is the last month I was struggling to get the numbers, and then I saw she enrolled somebody locally, and she didn't tell me, and I was like, why did you do that? And she's like, oh, I thought Diamond Club had finished. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I think there have been so many underlying frustrations. I'm I just need to let this go. But she had made comments to me during that, because I said to them at the end, because a lot of her team were presenting and that I would just come right at the end so that I wasn't there and they wouldn't feel nervous.
Yeah.
And then they get the Diamond Club rewards. And she said, yeah, it's like we've got our boss watching us. And I was like, well, I feel like I don't want that to be the case. I want you to have an understanding that this is really a partnership and I'm not your boss. This is your business and we're working together. Yeah, it's not quite the same as a corporate role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's operating so much in that world, right? It's really hard for her to change the mindset into this other mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you feel like you could reiterate that more and set up that partnership more?
That's one thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's too because she's a little bit older than me too. I feel like sometimes it's oh, I don't want to hear from you. I know more than you. But.
So how can you make her the expert? What could she be the expert on, and what can you give her, her space on, right? As somebody older, if you're going to empower your leader, You got to give her space. You got to give her the permission to do things her way, the permission to forget that you're doing Diamond Club, the permission to, not even look at the card that's in the book,
Yeah.
You got to choose, like, I'm not going to be offended. I'm here. I'm showing up.
Yeah.
And I'm here to love and support.
Yeah, no, I think I can go down that route, because that's when I first got the message. I'm like, seems like a common story, but I want to approach this with like a lot more, thought process behind it as to how I can sort of nurture this, because I know she really does need some money and for that to change in her life, and this feels like it's just sitting right there for her. Yeah, and I don't want that same message. I guess the other thing I'm worried about is that I don't want that message to trickle through her team. So once she says that she's taking a step back, she has people in her team that almost went elite or did go elite in their first month. And I've already experienced the same message that she's given me before in terms of I don't have enough time, I don't understand, and this comes from everything. And I've said to her before, you need to just go watch and really understand, because if you don't understand, your team's not going to understand the basics of leadership, the ranks and so forth. If you can understand that basics, then the rest of your team will catch up. Otherwise, the message will stay the same. So that's where I'm really conscious. Like, I don't want her to say to a whole team, I'm stepping back, I'm not really going to do anything, because I feel like they'll all be like, oh yeah, we don't have time, we're all out of this.
Right. So you know what she does will duplicate, right? And so it's really key what you do with her, right? This is where most of your stewardship is just with her, because everything else will ripple out. She can choose to, somebody has a baby, somebody pulls back a little bit, and your energy is powerful and it will affect your whole team. They will affect that. But you can limit the duplication of that, right? So what are some ways that you could go to her, right, and meet her where she's at? So you can either keep standing where you are and keep hoping that she will come and watch the videos and be like you, or you can kind of go to where she's at and meet her where she's at, and then, right, it's the match her efforts, latch and lead. How do you think you could do more of that, meeting her where she's at?
So that's one thing I was thinking of having a conversation with her. Like, I know that you've sort of missed a lot of posts because you're so busy that you can't pick up. Should we be having a catch up once a fortnight for me just to reiterate to you what the promotions are for the month or what's happening, so that you'll be able to then pass that on to the rest of your team? So to get those basics across, or how she won't feel like everything's slipping through her fingers. I feel like that's one of the main issues. That I'll get tagged on stuff and be asked to share with my team, in which I do, then I think she feels like if she doesn't watch everything that she's tagged on or respond to it, that she's not participating fully. So maybe to break that fear down for her.
I wonder, if she would just feel so loved, just knowing that you understood that part of her, and, we're willing to go there to meet her,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. What else?
That's probably, I think for her, I think that's the main thing. If I can kind of crack through and just build where to go, because she's going to need space, and I generally just will give us a lot of space most of the time.
When you would normally not reach out to other people and just take care of it, like maybe send a group email or something like that, does she need like an SMS? Does she need a little reach out on things like that? Like, oh my goodness, convention tickets were just available, or something like that.
Okay.
And then I love your thought about, how can I better partner with you? And asking a really powerful question that way, like, I see your strengths as this, and I have all of these strengths. I would love to give, to bring my strengths in a way that's really useful to you. This is your business. I want you calling the shots. Some of this, like, you have to transition that over, right? And how many of you on this call, this is like happening in your world, right? This is really common stuff. And once we get it down, we're like, okay, I got this. I can empower a leader, but it's a process. And one of my favorite images is just the belief levels with the little girl on there, right? Because developmentally, she is in the age of development that she's a little toddler, like in doTERRA, right? She's walking around, she's learning how things go, but she's tripping and falling a lot, right? And it's great to be able to visualize that and empower her. This will be a useful tool. All of these conversations have been really useful throughout doTERRA. Other places, anything else on her?
No, I think that pretty much has it covered.
How are you feeling on transferring vision overall with your other leaders and team?
I feel fairly confident with the rest of the team. It's probably like it's not probably quite at a 10. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. But I'd say it's quite high. I mean, I still have the one other leg that I told you about that I pretty much built. So it's sort of, I'm nurturing new builders in that team, like little baby sharers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to not like just spit everything at them at once, and slowly draw them into it.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I would say, okay, so maybe what is that for you? Is it an 8?
Yeah, I'd say about an 8.
Okay, so what would take that to a 9? What do you think you could do to transfer your vision a little bit more to your team?
I think I gotta try and really open up and show them ways that they can see it's possible for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That they can, they can achieve these things. So sometimes I think there's that little block that says, I'm going to go out and share a little bit. I'm going to build a little bit, but I'm not going to do it too much because if I don't succeed, I don't want to be seen to fail at it. So I can always just shut it down and stop. So I've heard that from a new builder, like not quite in those words, but that's what I'm sort of picking up from her. Well, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't matter anyway. I'm like, oh yeah, but you got to give it some time and a little bit of work.
Yeah. When they start with hey, I've got my back door right here and I'm just going to try this out, but I'm thinking it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I remember noticing, as probably the rest of you have noticed, really quick, watching people that were successful in doTERRA. I just noticed it was the people that believe. It was the people that believe. So I love that you're saying see themselves in it. What do you think you could do to help them see themselves in it?
It's probably, I don't know, I've got to try and think that one out a bit more. I tend to try and look at, I have recently done a real breakdown of my full back office to show them how things were built and that's sort of thing, to show them how they can create this for themselves and split down the teams. And that it doesn't really matter at the end of the day where anyone's placed, you can still move forward. But I don't know, and then I've also done up like the income comparisons and what that's monthly and that. But I think I've got to try and break it down to something more basic for them, something a little bit more, I can get that now. Like one of the ones that I'm talking about, now she is quite sick this week and she has quite bad immunity, but she's 400 PV off elite. Wow. And I can pretty much guarantee that I don't think she's going to do anything to hit elite.
So what could you do to help her right now when she's 400 PV away from elite? How can you help her catch a vision of, wow?
I feel stuck because I feel that I know that she's quite sick in terms of like she's had some vomiting bug or something like that. And she's told me that she and her kids are off school as of now for winter holidays. And she's told me that she wants to take a break because her sister's coming out and she hasn't seen her for a long time from the UK. So I'm kind of like, she's told me all these messages. She doesn't really want to do anything for the next month, that I should just leave her alone.
Okay. So that's where a lot of times when people are pushing back that way, right? They just want to be in choice. So a lot of times in that kind of situation, I'll be like, oh man, I'm so glad, I know you're just going to be with your sister. I know you're choosing just to relax right now. And I'm so amazed to see how close you are to Elite. Congratulations for that. And, sometimes miracles happen, and I would love, it would be amazing to see how two Family Essentials kits could come, or Home Essentials kits could come into being, Let's see if there's any magic coming your way or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's not this force, but it's inviting and opening up her mind to that possibility, right?
Yeah.
In
Do
a
you
way.
know, like, one thing I think about a lot.
Hang on one second. I want to invite everybody else to just type into the group chat any other ideas that they're having or thoughts that you're having even about your own teams and what you could do to kind of, help them see themselves in it, help them see themselves succeeding and make that a reality. Go ahead, Natalie.
Yeah, just one thing I often think about is whatever they enrolled as themselves. I feel like that is often what they will then duplicate, right? So she started with the small Family Essentials kit, and so like to open up the prospect that a Home Essentials is not that ridiculous is like almost everyone she's enrolled. I think all of them have been the same as her. So I guess I've got to try and change that mindset a little bit too, and see what.
And it's almost about, it's about telling stories about the other. It's about other people sharing stories about the other. It's about planting those little seeds of wow, you're 2 kits away, from this. And who is it that needs those kits, like, won't it be amazing to see who you're led to, and not in this, you have to be careful in the way that you do it, right? So that we're asking questions, we're planting seeds, and still, they're in choice. But I think it's also really helpful for them to see the numbers like you were talking about. So many times they are thinking, oh, Natalie's making this much and I can't even get past Elite. How am I going to get there, right? When if they can see, oh, if I can close these 2 kits, then I'm actually going to make, that's going to be another 40 US or 80 US dollars in fast starts, right? And like if we can help them start doing the math on what will come back their way. And a lot of times, I know the minimum wage there in Australia is just like so high, right? People could be construction work, like holding a sign on the road and be making great money there in Australia. And so I think it's really good to, be selling the specifics and also always be bringing the mindset and the freedom and the lifestyle as well, because that's such a reality. Why did so many of you say I came tonight? You came for the community, So, I love that. Deb, I love what you're saying. Sometimes the lack of pressure actually creates some creative space for them to grow into. Whenever people are like pushing back, oh, I don't want LRP, or I'm actually feeling like I'm not ready to build right now. I just say, oh, you know what? I am so peaceful with that. my non-attachment to them is going to release that attachment, and it's going to make it more likely that they'll engage, right? So I'm going to unattach from that outcome really quickly and be like, you know what? I really want the best for you. So I want to support you in what you want. What is it that you want? You know? And then nothing's pulling them to do one thing or another. And they're like, wait, I want doTERRA. I want this, you know? And a lot of times that's where they'll reconnect. Just like she's saying, that it'll be this wave that brings them right back.
Yeah, I like them. Thanks, Deb, for those messages. I just saw her other messages I couldn't see before. Appreciate that, Deb. And sending lots of wishes to your mum. I hope she's doing well in recovery. That's why I guess I was thinking, I'm just going to walk right away. I'm just going to not bother either of these two builders. I'm just going to let them have their own space, so that, you know, when you release them, like, could come forward.
Mm-hmm. And you can totally do that. So have that clarity, the clarity conversation, the non-attachment, do what you can to meet them where they're at. And, but then you're free, right? And if you want to grow faster, then you're attracting new leaders. If then they're ready to grow because now there's no attachment and they're choosing in themselves, you know, and there's just no force, right? They're in the flow of it. Then you're in a great space, whatever the outcome is, right? The last part of gold and solidifying that is nurturing this team culture of duplication. And I think this is key. How do you feel like you're doing there on the duplication?
I feel like duplication, I'm doing pretty good. I feel like there's a couple of things I can tweak to make it a bit better. So I've been trying to look at that. It's I mean, from the process of enrolling someone through to, you know, educating them and, you know, providing different workshops and things along the way and tapping into that. I think it's good. It's probably helping them find their own builders. It's probably in a little area that I probably duplication. Try and nurture that a bit more.
Love that. Find their own builders. Mm-hmm. How can you transfer that in your duplication more?
So, well, one of the things that recently I've done is I've downloaded, why have I the name? Lisa Zimmerman. She's got the trifolds, and I was looking at that, whether I then try and see how that works in terms of having that as a duplicated handout. Mind you, already have one that I do for my own team. I think it's sitting here, which sort of covers how to use the top 10 essential oils in quite detail. But maybe we can just modify that so that they can then literally hand that to somebody and they could self-enroll themselves.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And enrolling builders, you're modeling that, you're duplicating that by sharing your stories of you enrolling builders, right? So whether it was when you first started or whether it was yesterday, you're sharing those stories with your people, right? That will be, you know, we look at these oral traditions, we look at how we follow each other's example, and that's going to have more power than anything, right? And then you choose tools that support those processes, right? So you've got some other great things. You're going to have new tools released at Leadership that are going to be available through doTERRA. I know, finally, right? Yay! And I think the growth will be incredible, right? But remember, the tools, they support the processes, and it's always the magic of you. It's the magic of the individual. So keep telling those stories of how you did it so they can believe and they can duplicate it. Mm-hmm. I love it. And, you know, so that's totally your gold line. As you solidify that, then you're going to see yourself naturally advancing to platinum. And one of the things I like to do is just like if you ranked yourself at the ones below that, just check the lines below that and make sure you're a 10 or a 9, on all of those other places. Because sometimes there's like just one that, that we kind of moved right past. And if there's any weak spots in your foundation, we want to shore those up so that your team, your business, what you're creating is just solid to build on, right? So take a look back at that, but you've got these processes down. Are you clear on some key things that you can do right now to move your business forward?
Yes.
Awesome.
I think I feel more clear about how to have this conversation, because at the moment I've just sent back a quick email to say, I want to let you know I've got a lot on to. I'll touch base with you really soon, because I didn't know how to respond and exactly how to do the right thing. So yeah, I think I'm going to reach out and try and draw in and see if there's any way that she might be interested, and try and see if she can see any opportunity with what she's doing. And if not, at least.
How's that best going to happen? Is that going to happen best over email or?
No, I don't really like email. So I'll probably try and either, if I can catch up with her face to face, I'll try and do that. Otherwise, but she's saying how time restricted she is, so it makes it a bit challenging. Otherwise, it'll be probably a phone call.
So, phone calls will work, right? But if you can create any space where it's like, hey, what if I meet you right around the corner from this job and we just take your lunch break together really quick? I care about you so much, and I just want to connect in person,
Well, I think I might, because we've had all these BOGOs come in, that I'll have to touch base with her anyway, so we might have that opportunity come up naturally, so that'll be good. And then I think really getting clarity around what's the best way to communicate with her. Like, is it a quick SMS? How does she want to let me keep her up to date in this process, where she wants to take a step back but still wants to be there for a team, and just really find out what she really wants from me to help her over this period. And then once I can really establish that, I will still try and reach out with the opportunity, with what lays there in the compensation plan, and see whether she can see that for herself, what she could actually get the bonuses.
And you can blend all of that together, right? You kind of have 3 segments of a conversation, and you can bring that together, and you go in with the intention, right, of we're going to get clarity to help her move forward, and it'll be answered. You got some great gems. I'm so excited.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate that.
You are so welcome. Great insights, great clarity. You're moving, girl. I'm excited.
Sorry for the really messy sheet. I was trying out a new electronic pen and it was late at night.
Hey, that's looking really good. It's all my notes on it that are a little more messy. You did great. I love it. Blue Diamond, November 18th. Okay, so then back that out, right? So you're saying, okay, when is it diamond am I diamond in September? Am I platinum July, right? And then you've got that. I am platinum on or before July 31st. That's some pretty tricky advancing. So great to have these clarifying conversations. It's worth those investments in those leaders. So, you could be thinking about, oh, I have all these other priorities in my business. Well, guess what? Those leaders, your doTERRA children, invest in them first and everything else will work out. Okay? Your key qualifiers, wherever they are, right, in your org, invest there. Take that time, and then you'll multiply the good that you can do. So I like to, break that timeline down and then just start seeing how that feels. Okay, does Blue Diamond feel better in December? Should I give myself a little journey or am I pretty much at diamond right now? And I just need a couple steps. I just need these clarifying conversations to get there. Solid. So you got this. I'm excited.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Nervous, so that might be a good thing.
Say that one more time.
You made me nervous, so it might be a good thing.
Well, it's a big stretch. You're ready. You know, you're going there. And if you learn this empowerment thing, right, you're looking at the rest of the pyramid and you can see, hey, this is the course. If I know how to navigate this next level and I can say 10, 10, 10, 10, then it's just about the physicalities lining up. If I really need to, boy, I got to develop my why more, and I've really got to work on diligence to create diamond, and I need to work on inspiring and leading a movement and really multiplying abundance. Like, I got to listen to the power of divine compensation like 50 times before then, you know. Like, if that's where you're at, then give yourself a little space, right? What I love to remember in doTERRA is that we're not going backwards. Once you reach this rank, you're going to hold this rank as you built on these principles, right? As you built on this solid foundation. So, you know, I think ranks are these beautiful stepping stones where you're learning that, and then you are that, right? And you become that, and you hit that naturally. So allow that, and it'll be pretty magical. I'm excited for you.
One of the things that I've been trying to duplicate with my team was like a learn, live, and love philosophy. So when they're brand new and they get their oils, that they learn all about them, then they start living it, and then they love it so much that they will have it incorporated into their daily life, and they'll probably tell others about it. And the same, oh, hello, buddy. And they'll have the same thing then replicate for when they become a builder. So then they'll learn all about the steps to do that and rotate through. You've gone on mute.
I love that. That's so fun. Beautiful. Beautiful way to duplicate and bring that to your peeps. You gotta teach that. That's awesome. Hey, so beautiful, Natalie. We're excited. Keep us all posted. Let's roll. Now we're going to roll to Deb. You have been on a magical journey of healing there for your mama. Isn't it great that doTERRA can support in whatever season?
Oh my God. So thankful for that. That's been the freedom to travel around the world and back again and backwards and forwards to Perth. I could not have done that without doTERRA's financial support, that's for sure.
Wow, what a cool gift, huh?
Oh yeah, I've never had any doubt on that one though. I also this year just bought my first house at 50, so you know, the focus on the financial debt-free aspect and being the company that raises most people out of debt than any other company in the world, that's like very close to my heart. So
it's a reality for you, right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Thank you.
So fun to see. And you know what's amazing is, you know, this is not just happening for Deb husbands down in the corner of Australia. It's happening around the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, we were just with 1,200 people in Hungary and Romania and Slovakia and Slovenia. They all came together for one event in Budapest. And thank you. Love you. Thanks, Dad. And they are experiencing the same thing, you know? It's like the freedom that they've wanted. So it's a reality.
My biggest heart, you know, all I ever promise anyone or offer anyone is free healthcare. So anyone who's seen any of things I do, I just love to get anyone who's ready to get to Premier, and that's my only goal, is to build everyone to that particular place, because then I know at that point it costs them not to be in the business. And so only ever promised them free helichrysum and that they can have free healthcare. And wow, how incredible to know. My family has gone through a lot lately in my son breaking his leg and other things as well, but to really be able to rely heavily in a realistic way as well. It's not just like, oh, stick an oil on this and forget everything else, but I have a greater appreciation of blending it with Western medicine and with frontline people who are out there really caring for people in the best way they know how, but to be able to find a better language to support people in that integrated space has been a really beautiful, humbling and compassionate place to find myself. So I don't sit there and judge anyone for not wanting to stick an oil in their mouth or something, but I do feel really honoured that we've got options.
Yeah, yeah. And that we can use them complementary to each other when we have a broken leg or...
Yeah, when they're ready. Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing your heart and what's happening right now with us.
Thank you.
Well, let's dive into where you're at in the business. So, Organic Gold. Your belief in your builders, a 10. With love, a 10. Transferring vision, a 9. Nurturing a team culture of duplication, a 9. As you think about those last two, so let's just talk about transferring vision. At this point, what could you do to take that to a 10?
Well, I can honestly only connect to each of the people, and I know it's a frustratingly slow process, but that's where I feel comfortable with. I'm not a pushy person, as you know, which is why I'll probably be more of the turtle in this race than the hare. But I like to know that people know that I care, and of course I've not been able to be there 100% for them in nurturing perhaps where they are. I've found that I'm just holding a space now for regular team calls and connections where I can, but I think what I've done is take the judgment of myself, thinking I must be as capable as Jessie in holding a multimedia space, and accept that, you know, if I'm face to face with anyone, I could probably be 10 on all of those. It's just unfortunate they're all spread far and wide around. So I've been looking for a way that can help them feel supported on a whole level. So actually, even though I filled out gold, what I'm aiming for is looking more at the platinum and diamond issue. And it's only been because I was sitting there at platinum aiming for diamond that I've been able to go through this process with you a few times, and that's why I've come back to be refilling those things up. And I'd like that to spill over organically, and I guess I'm developing the place of watching what's a boil ready to pop, or let's put it in a nicer way, a seed really ready to pop out of its shell, versus me smashing the crap out of the seed in order for it to sort of produce some kind of a root there. So I'm, even though I, looked at wanting to amplify momentum and build the community and leadership, that's why it's not there, is because I haven't had the people in the right places ready to build themselves. But my belief in the builders is a 10 now, because I have finally found people in depth that are prepared to build. So my belief in the whole team is not as strong, because I'm still yet waiting to find that. And I had an incident this week that rocked me when I was very down, where a lady had said a whole team wanted to leave, and it was a really key position that I'd been pouring a lot of energy, resources into. And it had nothing to do with anything that was between us. It was something that had been sitting with her since she joined with me after offering her a connection back to her friend, and she made a choice to go where she's gone. Well, a year later, she's decided perhaps she feels a bit guilty about that. So I was really down, and it was great because it was like I couldn't get any further down at this point. So I just said, let me process that. And we did it via email. And I just thought, you know, I'm not going to react and get all hurt and play the old songs. If you want to go, that's fine. Go with God and be really happy.
Yeah.
But in my heart, I was kind of going, well, you know, you can go, but the rest of the team that's there won't be going anywhere. So rather than reacting, I put it back to her and said, you know, no problems. However, you know, you're going to need to go through this process, which is going to affect another 10 people here. And it's totally up to you. You have my blessing. Just be aware. That's what will have to happen. Anyway, she came back with she wasn't going to do that. So my heart knows now that something really strong will grow from that, and perhaps myself, that lady, and the woman who had missed out on her would be really happy to collaborate together. So what I'm doing to nurture that is that team place is waiting for the opportunities where I can really bring some mortar into the bricks that are there. But it's a slower process, and it involves a lot of letting go, and it involves a lot of standing in your own space and, you know, just not giving up, but awaiting the right time. And, you know, so that's pretty much there.
I love it. So I've been taking notes, and some of the things that have stood out to me, and you see if this reflects back on what
I'm going to take notes back from your notes from me.
Oh, I just love, we were talking about transferring vision, and you talked about needing to be there in person. And I thought it was beautiful how, you know, I don't know, you know, there were a couple comments in the chat box just from you sharing for 2 minutes. And my experience of you, Deb, is that you inspire, and it doesn't have to be in person. You do great at it in person, and you do great at it via video chat like this, or a Facebook Live, or anything like that. So I want to invite you to believe in that transmission, right? What you came here tonight was because you wanted to have a transmission, right? To feel our love for you, the connection, and you trust that transmission. What if you trusted the transmission that you're bringing to your team as much as that?
Okay.
How would that feel?
Well, the note I took about you when we began was, I'm not fabulous, but it's about asking the right questions. So I thought, you know, it's a good place to start, because me talking to nothingness is nothingness. I haven't got anything. But me talking to one face, or any face, means I can connect to some energy that's there. So I'm developing that, and I appreciate that. And it's just as well I start my first one tomorrow.
I was going to say, because I know things come up for you, you know, somebody asks a question or and sometimes that's where I have to start. And I go through these seasons, like we've been writing Empowered Success stuff, so I just haven't been online very much. And I go through these seasons that I take a break, but then there's this, you know, when somebody asks me a question, then I can envision them and I can answer that question. So whatever you need to do to start visualizing them and connecting to that, you can do it. I remember we had this business coach, and he was like, Natalie, you can connect just as much over video as these individuals that you're with one-on-one. You can bring that same magic. And I really had to like ponder that and take it in for a while. It was shaking me up. But I
figured I got the face for radio, so that was my issue to get over. But now I've got over it now.
Get the face for video. You're beautiful and amazing. So, and I think that team culture of duplication is going to be powerful as the new Empowered Success pieces come to just be more accessible. So I love that.
Thank you.
I also, in your response, I heard you say that I want to really care. I don't want to be pushy, but sometimes that means a turtle or, and you said slow, 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 like 3 or 4 times. And I want to challenge that belief too. And just to ask you, is it true? Is it true that caring for people has got to be really slow?
No, it was more a declaration of where I've been, or I mean, I don't want to apologize for it. I'd like to be faster.
I know.
But,
I know.
I
I
haven't
don't even
found
think
it.
it has to be rabbit pace.
Yeah.
But you know, I've coached with you enough before this that I can talk straight with you, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That that you care and people feel that care and they don't feel the push. And so what would you be without that fear of being the pushy person?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's in you, right? But when you hold on to any of that fear or any of that, I'm not, I'm going to do this because I don't want to be that. Yeah. We're actually bringing both of those energies at the same time, right?
Yeah. I guess I'm just not quite clear how to do that yet. I've got to practice more, which I am doing with total strangers, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
It's not very successful, but it's a good practicing.
You know what I love is, who was it? Oh, it was PJ of PJ and Yura, and she said, she was at the UK convention. She said, this is the most forgiving business.
Yes.
I've been in millions of businesses. She probably said hundreds or several businesses, but this is the most forgiving business ever. And I just thought, wow, like, just like what you're saying, we get another chance. It's just like getting a brand new day and starting again, Yeah. The universe keeps giving us brand new days to start again. And you're given one more person that needs the oils, one more person that needs the business, and you're just giving it another go. And is it perfect every time? Yeah. And whether they're ready or not, it's perfect because you're in that growth process, and so are they.
I guess I've got to tap on it or visualize or imagine it a little more, because I work a lot with the flows of what's presented towards me, and I haven't actually, I know I'm not in that flow, so I don't know. I believe 100% I'm capable of dealing with those people as they come. My belief is I haven't been 100% capable in finding those new people, even with exposing myself, and now I'm in a place where I'm a bit stuck with being able to go out and expose myself. And so I'm in between those two worlds at the moment. I have put my whole life into a place of being able to go out and meet new people right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yet life hasn't responded with that as yet. But I believe it will.
Yeah. Which is beautiful, right?
Yeah.
The neat thing about it is if we're not attached to fast or slow, we're just connected to trusting the process, then what happens?
Yeah.
Whether it's fast or slow, we're good, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty beautiful place. So
I'll take it out of my vocabulary.
Yeah, trust the process. I love it. Let's see. Okay, so on that line of platinum, what could take your belief in your team up from an 8 to a 9?
Finding some more people that want to step up And I guess in answer to the next question, now I can ask those people the question, are you ready to step up? Those people that might be in some key positions. So I have had a couple of critical conversations in that last month, which are hopefully going to be netting some results. But that's the only thing that's going to... My belief in the team is when I can prove or show them that their healthcare costs them nothing. And that's when I suddenly become absolutely 100% behind them. I just know that those people between executive and elite, man, it's so tough for them to build that belief without having something. And if they're not in the midst of wanting to go out and do a class, and they're not, you know, I can't give them people to show them belief. I'm there if they want to have a class, yet they're in the place of not wanting to be pressured as yet to spend the money. So my belief is lacking in how to convince them that they're just a minute away from amazingness. And when they cross that line, or when I can get the door open for them to have a class, I only need them to earn $100 and it's there. I only need one class for them to be able to raise their belief. And then my belief is there. So is it my belief in me nailing a class, or my belief in them not quite ready for one? Or that's the process that I'm in trying to find.
I love hearing that, because it shows, like, I mean, you said, how can I convince them, right? And so maybe even this process, what if this process was more like what we even talked about in mentoring in the beginning, that it is just more asking them the questions and having them figure it out, or making sure that we're telling those stories. So you're telling the story about when you got your healthcare paid for and how powerful that was, and you're finding the other people on your team that are plugged into those calls, and you're capturing that little video with them of how does it feel to get your healthcare paid for, and how did you do it? Tell me about that, right? That's what builds belief, right? So a lot of times that happens at events, but you can create that virtually all the time. It's just about drawing out the message that you want to share. And that is all about your duplication, and that's going to expand community and leadership and amplify momentum, right? Deb, it's like, I totally agree. Deb's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you all.
It's like, I lost my train of thought. Amplifying momentum.
Well, I know what you were saying. It's like believing that asking the right questions and hearing the stories will do exactly what I'm looking for. And I know that that was the first, you know, I probably didn't need the rest of the call. That first intro from you was enough. But it's the note that I wrote down, and I think it's very key. And it's probably the one and only thing I can do right now. So whether it be necessity or whether that be truly what was the answer, that's where I'm at, and that's what I will be trying. And I haven't put this as a rah, you must all come and actually listen to me. I've just gone, hey, look, I'm offering, and if you're there tomorrow and you're available at Saturday at this time, I'm there if you want to drop in. And the only thing I have to do is work out if I'm going to be talking to myself or not.
And what's so fun is when you trust the process, you don't even, right? Even if you are, you're practicing for that next person, right? How many of our classes have been no-shows? How many, right? We all wouldn't be here if we didn't, if we stopped at a no-show. But
so what would you do if we were all a no-show? And you were still recording the call? What one thing would you focus on transmitting?
Well, then I would, get a little bit more generic, and I might go right up the whole the whole pyramid, right?
Yeah.
But I think what is beautiful is when you show up, and you're so good at bringing your heart. Now it's like, what if you brought your heart into some place where people can actually know how to connect to that, right? It's almost like sending a more clear message out to the universe. Hey, I am showing up Tuesday from 3 to 5, Thursday from 3 to 5, and Friday from 9 to noon. Like, I am all focused there. I'm bringing value. Like, you know, so it's not like, you know, I see this as the, as part of the diamond one.
Yeah.
With diligence, right? So you're bringing the love diligently. Now just bring it within something where they know they can start connecting to you, right?
Yeah.
Something that they can count on that way. And that to me looks like all the places where you might have 7s or 8s, that would just.
Yeah. And I think the big one there is my why, which is what I'd say probably a 6, but that's what I'm working on, is
oh, beautiful.
the one thing, so that it's somehow clearer, because I do think I'm quite adaptable. As one of my strengths is empathy, connectedness, adaptability. So unfortunately, that means I can feel the universe going on, and I can't really narrow it down to the one transmission, because any question, and I can answer any question, no question, and I'm just out there floating in the universe. So.
Well, and what message were you just saying? Hey, if you guys can join me, great. If you can't, that's okay too. But it's not even like hey, I'm here, I'm showing up. You want to go forward with me? Show up right here with me.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's a little difference between those two messages. It's like, I'm not here to give people permission to slack, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I want them to grow and learn, and we're going to do this together. So show up if you want to grow and learn with me. You know, you can choose in or out, but I'm here and I'm showing up big, and whoever wants to grow, we're going to grow together.
I like it.
So bring that kind of, like, you got fire in you, Deb. I wonder if to all that adaptability, you bring all of that stuff, but you bring it in a way that people can find it, you know, and connect to it in more of a concrete way. You know what I mean? Like, they know what to connect to. And
I do understand exactly what you're saying. A very psychic, spiritual friend of mine said to me, well, Deb, I'm sure people would hear your message if they have climbed 3 mountains, gone through 7 tunnels, come through the maze out the other side, swum through the water, come out the other end of the pyramid. Then you're rocking.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah, so declare.
Oh, see, I love it. Right? But you are getting so clear on your why. You already told me. You already told all of us, hey, I'm here. I am here because I want people to have, you know, free natural health care. And I'm committed to that. And I love what I see when people do that. And I love the freedom that I've gained, and I want to pass that on. You know, that's what I heard from you today.
Okay.
You guys hear that? That's what I heard. So I love it.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you, everybody.
Focus on, you've got a lot of those strengthened. Focus there on the platinum and diamond. And it feels like, you know, again, I think you guys got an earlier version. So anytime you're filling out this form, start at the very bottom and go up to where you're hitting organically or the rank that you're shooting for.
Fill all of the numbers in.
And then, then you can see if there's any other weaknesses, any other breaks, right? Because the strengths will be apparent. We're going to focus in on those strengths, but we're also going to mitigate our weaknesses, right?
Perfect, yeah.
And maybe that's, you know, sometimes it's bringing in an upline, bringing in a downline, bringing in a sideline to kind of mitigate that weakness, right?
Well,
So,
perfect. And then you've got a record as you're growing of your growth when you've got the numbers there.
yeah, it just helps things get really clear, right? Exactly what we're talking about. Like, get in that window. This is what really matters right here, right now. This is your next step. You know, you're inviting people to the next step. That's all we do, right? You help them feel that connection, that transmission, and you're inviting them to the next step, so they can progress. I love it.
Thank you all.
Beautiful. Oh, look at all those great notes.
Thanks, Terpsy, Gina, and Amanda. Crystal, thank you all anyway.
Okay, Preeti, I love the progress that you've made since last month, and so beautiful. How are you doing on sharing experiences? You guys realize that I'm not doing ninja work. I'm just asking the question about what they've rated themselves the highest in or what they've rated themselves the lowest in, and diving in.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what I've done in the last month, and just think of yesterday with the nurse and the GP I've saw, and I just talked freely about the oils and the supplements. However, they knew already about doTERRA, so they have, so it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I am standing more and more behind the LLV, so that's kind of, and approaching people, that's where I'm a bit, or meeting people, and also sharing my experiences online. It's falling over a bit that one of my, or not in my strengths, is structure and discipline. So
yes, this is what I'm seeing from your answers, is the same thing that we were just talking about with Deb, that you just, you know, being clear about that structure. You saying, okay, how many classes are you going to teach in July? You know, how many classes are you going to teach in July, Preeti?
8.
8?
I want to do 2 a week.
How many classes did you teach in June?
None.
Okay, so what if we start with something like 2?
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I think sometimes I get this, I have to go all the way to the top of the mountain or else I'm nothing, right?
Yeah, I know. I've got very big visions, but somehow my body and mind, they don't want, or like my body just doesn't want to get there. Or can't, but
There's a principle, it's called the 1% principle, and the 100% devil. And I find that with, it's human nature, but women in general, we tend to this side of the 100% devil. Like, if I can't teach all 8 classes, then I'm not going to do anything, because I've got to be 100%. So anytime I see that I can't quite be 100%, I'm letting it go all the way for that month, or I'm letting it go all the way for that person, or whatever, if we stick to this 1% principle, I'm just going to take this from a 7 to an 8. I'm just going to do 1% better this month than last month. Instead of 1 enrollment, I'm going to get 2. And that 1% will just start adding up and making all the difference. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes so sense.
So will you set dates and times for those 2 classes? So you have that, it's clear, it's in your calendar, so that as you're connecting with people, you can just invite them to the class.
Yeah. I've been thinking while I've been watching when I would like to do the next book, set the date for the next class, and I thought it will be in 2 weeks because I want to have some time, and again breaking one of my patterns of putting too much pressure on I'm having class tomorrow, having to call 10 people and stuff, instead of saying okay, set it in 2 weeks so I actually have time to start connecting with people.
Beautiful, right? And how many people are you going to sample or give them an oil experience to attend that class?
People give a sample. That's where I'm a bit blank right now with that, but I have actually quite a few people I've given a sample, which I should call up.
Yeah. So I just want to call all of our awareness to in the launch guide, and you guys know you've got the downloads already. You have it so easy that you speak English. Every other market is just waiting for the guides. But you've got the downloads right now of Empowered Success. Let me just, it's so easy, right? You go to doTERRA.com, our advocates, empowered life, or empowered you, empowered success. I mean, there's lots of empowereds. So you can grab that launch guide and you can see the 100 people, right? That we might make a list of 100 people, then we share with 45, then 30 attend a class, 15 might enroll from that, and 3 might build. So those are just some numbers so that we can, it's not like, oh, I'm going to do this crazy thing. If you sample or expose, let's say you just do 5 people. Let's do 5 people for this first class, And maybe instead of making it 10, since we know that you go to that side, if you get 5 done and you want to do some more, that's great, but let's just say 5. And
5 new people for that class.
Or even someone that you've already shared with, you follow up. Okay, how did you like
okay, just 5 people. Okay, yeah.
How did you like that oil? How did it work for you?
Yeah.
Everybody's body's different. And so I wanted to check in and see how it worked for you. And if we need to try something else so that you can get results, how did that help you? So I always like to, when I share the sample, set them up that way so that they're, if the frankincense doesn't work for the thing they need, then we can use the spikenard. Or, if balance doesn't work like we want it to, then we can use Intune. Whatever, every body is different. So give them that experience, and then you've got an amazing class set up. And honestly, you just give those oil experiences to 5 people, whether they're people you've already shared with or brand new people, it's fine. And then, Preeti, we want to hear how your 2 classes go, okay?
All right.
So glad you are here, and I love everything. I think your last 2 answers, you have a lot of clarity, so I want to make sure that you get this form and share it with your these are so great to get clear on. So I invite you to share these with your direct enroller.
I have done already. I'm so lucky. Adish and Santoshi are my direct enrollers, so
awesome.
I've already sent it to them as well.
I want to challenge all of you. When you get this clarity, share that, and you'll get the support from them.
Okay,
well.
yeah.
Great.
And the amazing thing is what happened. I was tidying up or finally getting settled after our move a bit more, I came across something Santoshi and Natish gave me 2 years ago. This one.
Oh,
and it's a little booklet about developing habits. 66 days developing habits. I said, yeah, that's what I need. So I've just actually I've done what you said. I only set myself one habit to change, even though I want to change 10 habits. and it's about to be in bed when I need to be in bed. So
beautiful.
Yeah. So the last question, just writing it down, brought it already in my consciousness, and then this showed up by itself. Yeah. So
isn't it beautiful to see how the mentoring happens? It actually happens all by itself within us. Those answers are within you, the brilliance is within you, and you're just getting clear on it. So strong work. Amazing.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You're so welcome. Hey, Gina, we're going to close with you. Bring it home here. Let's see.
I'll do my best.
You're amazing. So looks like you're super strong in those first two lines, and then we get to the silver line. And what could you do to take your belief in you from a 9 to a 10? Your belief in you being
I've listed it as a 9. I actually do believe in myself, but it's kind of like, how do I say this? I've got a split personality. When I'm doing classes, I feel knowledgeable and I feel well received and I get the best feedback. But I suppose that the other part of me, as you know, I've been around for a long time. Deb and I have been around for a long time. I've almost felt, I suppose, unnoticed, because we're fortunate enough to have Adish and Santoshi as our direct upline. But I've also, I suppose, in some senses, and I'm being completely open, felt alone at the same time. I haven't felt like we've been part of a community that we see these days. So that's been a real challenge of mine. Is I'm kind of like an introvert in terms of contacting peers and trying to connect and be a part of a team. So I've got a team now, but I haven't felt to this point that I'm part of a team. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so wonderful to have you guys back too. And I know you're my upline, but I've never really felt that I've been, how do you say it? Not important, that's not the right word, enough to be able to reach out to you personally and say, hey, I need some guidance. So It's been a very alone journey for me, if that makes sense.
And beautiful clarity. Who is that about?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, when I hear you say that, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited for you, Gina, because now you're giving yourself permission to be worthy and deserving of support. And
absolutely. Yeah.
And how fun to feel a part of a team and still know that you can get what you need and still operate in your own little world, right? That's safe too. You know what I mean? Like, as an introvert, I've got to know that I can unplug and I don't have to be a part of the big doTERRA octopus all the time, you know? So I think it's beautiful that you are in that space of worthy and deserving now.
Yeah, I definitely am. And I think I've gone, over the past years, I've gone from blaming and being resentful for some past experiences, but then I get through that. It's like this circle that I keep going around, and I think that's probably why my journey's been so slow, because I get into this blame and resentment, and then I go, hang on a minute, what could I have done to improve that, or what was my part in that experience? And so I flip-flop from one thing to another, and I think it's probably because I've never really been able to have reach up further to get some clarity and some guidance and stuff. So I'm so grateful that you guys are back and offering this mentoring. I'm really, really, really super grateful.
So glad that it's lining up, and yeah, you know
it's
now
the right time for me.
And yeah,
it's only been probably the last my game changer, Natalie, was the first Diamond Club that I did.
I'm so glad you jumped into that and just got moving. You work through.
Yeah, I mean, it was in terms of growth and everything. It was probably more on the side of failure. But what it did was it brought to light a lot of the things that I needed to address. And one of the biggest things that I learned was that I wasn't taking accountability for my own thing. I was so reliant on Adish and Santoshi when it came to ranking and figures and numbers. I just didn't get the business.
Yep.
I thought I did, but I just didn't. And Diamond Club was such a big thing, but also a breakdown for me, because I just realized how much I hadn't engaged in learning about that. And so I spent, I suppose, the next 2 years, I didn't get into Diamond Club the year after. I spent the next 2 years just really taking ownership and responsibility. And it only feels probably like the last 12 months that I feel deserving of, I really feel like I'm doing the work now and putting the effort in to, for the rewards, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that whole feeling of worthy and deserving is everything, right? Because you're giving yourself permission to receive, or you're holding that off, and literally, energetically putting up your hand and saying, actually, I don't want this, hold off. And how beautiful to be in that space of receiving.
And so I mean, I've put 9 at silver, but it's kind of a 10, but it's, I wasn't sure. You can see there that I've scribbled it out.
Yep, you're great. So that is key. That is a pivot point I see with the, that silver rank can be something that just people kind of hang around right there until they see themselves being successful in this business 100%. So I want you to visualize that more, whatever else you need to do to take that to a 10. I like that you're identifying where you're at with the success habits. What can you do to level that up, to bring that up?
Well, I think I see my challenges that I need to improve on. One is possible and one is probably going to be an ongoing challenge. Time is a real issue for me. As you know, I've got 2 children with special needs that require a lot of attention. My parents are also requiring these days a lot of attention. My dad has dementia and my mum has had lots of significant surgeries just recently, which is why I couldn't do the other call with you. I also just recently separated during the Diamond Club.
Wow.
So time for me at the moment, I'm just restructuring my whole world, really. So that's something that I need to work on and get better at. And what happens as a consequence of that is where I need to improve is consistency with my engagement with my team. So I suppose the thing that I'm working on, I've kind of stepped back a little bit during July. And I'm getting myself organised in terms of back office stuff, like just how I'm going to communicate with people, what type of mentoring. I think that I have these great big energy bursts and I do all of the right things, and then something happens in my home life that takes me away from it, and then I feel like I completely drop the ball and I don't feel like I'm supporting my team members. And that's the other thing that I wanted advice of too. In terms of support, I get such great feedback from my team members, and who all say that I'm doing the right thing and everything. But how do you draw the line between them messaging you, like everyone wants me to do a class with them. They're not, how do I move people into feeling comfortable to stand on their own legs and do their own classes? I have had that recently where there is some of that happening a little bit, but I feel like everybody wants to send those private messages to me. Everybody wants me to go to their first few classes as opposed to my leaders or the people that introduce them to doTERRA, their enroller.
Yep.
And it's a fine line between support and not support, and them not feeling supported if I don't continue. I just feel like that's a constant thing with me, and why I feel so busy all the time is because I've got all this contact from everybody. I feel like I'm...
Yep. I hear you, right? How many of the rest of you feel like, there's so much contact. This is exciting. How can I navigate this, right? So one of the things, as your influence expands and your team expands, is you're going to need to tighten up those boundaries, right? And what's powerful about that is you can actually serve more powerfully within boundaries. Love what Orla's saying about supporting on the first 3 classes, and that is this pattern of empowerment. You know, we model it. They have realistic expectations, so they know they're going to see it. You're going to support them for 3 times, whether that's an online class or, in person, that they've got that little support for 3 times. And you know in your mind, I can give this, I can carve this time out because it's just going to be 3 times and then they're going to be empowered, right? So,
yes, and I do that. I follow that model, but then I just find they just don't do another class. That's their fear is still there of stepping into.
So you mean after the 3 classes, they're not? How much of those 3 classes are you teaching? Or every time are you transitioning so that they're doing more and more of the class on the 2nd and 3rd class?
Yes, so I know, and one of the things that I think I struggle with most on those classes is I engage them in the presentation, and then at the end, which I've changed too. More recently, I'm saying now you need to be by my side at the end of the class and learning. They tend to rely on me to close everything and do the paperwork and help people choose their products. And how do you teach?
If that part is a block, then maybe you need to do more little coaching things, sampling things on that. But most of the time when people see that 3 times, then they're like, okay, I'm ready to try a little bit of that. But I think one of the things too, Gina, when you're naturally so good at closing and enrolling and closing a class, or some of these areas that you really shine in, it's easy for those people to think, oh, I just can't do it like Gina can. And so, your job during those first 3 classes is just to transfer your belief and help them see what they're doing right, and just keep duplicating that, right? We're studying their success. Hey, you signed somebody up on LRP. How did that go? How did you do that? Let's repeat this. You got this, How did you enroll that person with a kit? Amazing, and you're taking a highlighter around all of those experiences, bringing out the successes and helping them fine tune where they're not having the successes. Hey, you know what? I watched that question that you asked her, and this part was good, but this right here, if you will help her see how doTERRA is the solution to a problem, you're going to get that enrollment easier. And this is the questions that I use to do that, So make sure you're giving that practical feedback, that you're just infusing belief in them the whole time, right? And especially where you're gifted, Just
and I suppose setting those boundaries to so
in the beginning, I didn't know how to do this, or maybe tell a funny story about all the ways that you messed up, But what was wonderful is I learned, right? in that Diamond Club, I did it enough to learn what I didn't know. And then we moved right past it. So I think that's really powerful. I'm just looking on your form too. I didn't get yours printed out, so.
Diamond Club always gives back something that you're not expecting to. What you sign up for and what you actually get out of it, completely different.
Mm-hmm. I love it that you've got that experience, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man, 4 and 5, you've got great clarity on that. And you know what's fun is at this point, now that you feel worthy and deserving, you can be clear on what kind of support you want from your upline. So maybe from us, you're like, I love this call. I'm going to plug into that. I'm going to be at leadership so I can, you know, clue into this. And then from Aditi Santoshi, you're getting really clear on where they create the most value for you. What is it that supports your team the most? Where can you engage them and bring them in healthy ways with their gifts, you know? Then you're becoming a stronger leader the whole time, and you've got the grandparents coming in, you know, supporting the great grandparents coming in, and you've got this healthy mix. So I think your clarity on those requests is going to make a big difference. A couple of things from your comments earlier. You are the creator of time, Gina Whitelaw. You are not at the mercy of time. I love, you know, my sister Roxanne is always saying that, and I'm like, oh, Roxanne, you're making me crazy. It's not true. It's not true. But yep, Natalie, it is true. And you know, everything works out for her, and I watch how she is creating time, and everything works out for her, right? So I want you to do some affirmations on that, right? Because I've got 7 kids, 1 million team members, and I'm finally over some of my time blocks, and I feel healthy and good, and like there's enough.
So you had them too, did you?
Yeah.
That's nice to know.
Oh man, I had them for years.
You've always looked so calm and in control.
Whatever. That's online. Totally, right?
Yeah.
This was a big one for me. Actually, the divine law of compensation was really big for me on that. On money, work, money, and miracles, but I felt like a lot of the stuff connected to time.
Yeah. That I always go back to.
Yeah. So love Marianne on that one. I also am listening to a new one that I'm loving. What is that called? The 5 second.
Love.
Oh, she did write that too, but I'm listening to the 5 second rule or something like that. The 5 second rule.
Done it. That was the one I've just completed.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
That to me was such a time. I was like, oh, it's not really about time. It's about my energy and time, right?
Yeah.
So moving right through that. And then you spoke about one more thing that, just about, okay, I'm going to take this season to get all organized, and then I'm going to come back and da-da-da, which, Gina, we all need those seasons. I totally get it. And that's what doTERRA is for, is to be able to do those seasons. And what I've learned is if I ever stop doing the crucial things, you know, it's kind of like if for your special needs child, you completely fall off the planet and you don't show up with basic support like feeding them, you know, you're going to have some serious ramifications, right?
Yeah.
So in doTERRA, never stop feeding your peeps, never stop feeding your team, and you decide how to show up at that minimal level, but that never goes away. It's like, you know, starting a fire. Once you start that fire, you walk away from that fire and you get to do the work to start the fire again, right? But you don't need to do all of that work again to start the fire from coals again if you will just do those little basics, Okay, maybe I'm not doing every success habit, but I've decided the essentials for my team are that Monday live that I'm posting on the Facebook group, and and this showing up Thursday on my mentoring call with my leaders or whatever. And a lot of times it's showing up at the beginning of the week for our leaders and doing some accountability, and then they're good to go, they're focused, they're ready to create, and so they're duplicating all week. You're working on your own inviting, presenting, and enrolling, and you're making magic there. So,
and so do you think at my level of leadership I should be doing weekly or bi-weekly or monthly team mentoring? I mean, I do live feeds on the group page, but
I think it really depends. And what's tricky is, the needs of your team will start fluctuating, but when you've got a lot of, up and coming builders, then those up and coming builders are just needing to really connect with you to kind of recharge and get fueled pretty often. So maybe you're saying, hey, anybody that wants to build, we're having the builder call on Tuesday nights, and you're just showing in to pump that. And maybe it's just that group call. So it's not everybody's mentoring, right? How useful is this when we're mentoring other people? Like, do you feel like, oh, I'm so bored? Most of it is pretty relevant to almost everyone, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, once you get, oh, hey, I've got other gold and above leaders, you might want to separate into, hey, we got this gold going diamond leader group, and then we've got elites and premier leader group. And if you feel like you need to start breaking that out. But for now, just do for minimum this group mentoring call. There's a quick layout. You can just do the, hey, shout out, your name, where you're from, and what you created this last week. It's kind of accountability, right? And then you do a Q&A question in the middle, and then they declare their goal for the next week. And you can do that in an hour with 12 to 20 people if you keep it going. These calls we're going deeper. You're more experienced leaders. We're trying to help you get through blocks, right? But these others are just these touch points where they need to have accountability. They need to be able to ask questions, and then they need to be able to declare what they're doing, be clear about it, and go for it.
Yeah. Thanks, Natalie. That's great.
Yeah. Show up on those minimums no matter what. And you'll find that you're not like needing to start the fire again, that fire is just continuing to burn and grow and grow.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm so grateful for this today. I've got notes all over the place.
Oh, you're amazing. I know, me too. I'm learning. What I love is we learn together, right? Any last questions as we close up? Any burning questions? I look forward to being with you down there at Leadership. Karina, I don't know if you can fly up and say hi for a little bit, but I'd love to connect. I'll be there from Wednesday to Sunday morning on the Gold Coast during Leadership. Love you all. So grateful for this time to connect.
Thanks, Natalie. Can you just put in the chat box those books that the things that you said to watch too? If you.
Oh yeah. So, man, I'm not sure the very start, but it's Divine Compensation, Marianne Williamson, and 5-Second Rule. Author forgotten.
Mel Robbins.
Oh, that's right. My teenagers listen to the 5-second rule now, and
I
they're
love it.
going,
It's awesome.
going. Yeah,
That's amazing.
I love it.
Thank you, Thank you, Natalie, so much. God bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the update. You're doing amazing. Hop back in. You got this. Love you all. Talk to you next
Thank you.
Ciao.